Hello everybody, it's kayflye and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. Today we're going to build a traditional American suburban house. I thought this would be kind of fun to do after just going through a little bit of a Google Images rabbit hole, as I often do when I'm looking for things to build. And I wanted to build something that would fit nicely in the Willow Creek neighborhood, but be like a little bit different, but not too different that you wouldn't be able to play in it. This house turned out to be way too expensive for a starter home. I initially had a family of Sims living on this lot, and then I bulldozed their house so I could build this one. So I started off with a little bit of a higher budget, and then I totally used all of the budget and decided, you know what? I feel like I kind of need to build a one Sim home that's not just a really boring starter. So that's kind of where we ended up here. And as always, I started off by looking through Google Images for a bunch of reference photos on American suburban houses. And then you'll see as the build progressed kind of where we ended up with that. But I wanted to make it look interesting from the outside and especially look interesting in regards to how base game homes usually look. Because I feel like sometimes they are a little bit bland and a little bit boring just because there's only so many items present in the Sims 4 base game. And I wanted to see if I could spice it up a little bit. And if you stay watching until the end of the video, you'll get to see how I made the brick columns that you see in the thumbnail. That was not clickbait. Those were something that I handcrafted out of debug. So if you'd like to see the items I used to do that, make sure you watch to the very end because that's when I finally figured out how to do it and also where the items I was looking for were. So you can see here I just had this like kind of placeholder of these little half walls that I colored in, and as the video progresses and we get to the very end, you'll see that I eventually completely delete those and then I build my own columns, which is a super great tip if you only have the Sims 4 base game and you're feeling unsatisfied with the columns you have and you don't want to use custom content. There's a lot of ways that you can build quote unquote custom columns using debug. So I'll be showing you how I did that at the end of the video. But anyways, you can see here the exterior is really starting to take shape. Personally, I usually put the windows on the front and the sides of the house first, and then as I lay out the rest of the interior, I'll kind of go back and retroactively put windows in. And I did struggle with this floor plan a little bit because I wanted to keep the house footprint pretty small. So it felt like a starter home. It was just like a little more bougie on the inside. But I did have to make it a little bit bigger, played around with things a lot, played around with a lot of different windows, which then again reminded me that we really don't have enough doors and windows in the Sims 4 base game. And especially we don't have enough like little tiny windows. But, you know, it is what it is. I definitely struggled a bit with this, but I feel like it turned out super, super cute in the end, and I was super happy with how it looked. I really wanted to do something that had, you can see I'm messing with the roof here, that's why I'm thinking about it, but I wanted to do something that had an interesting looking roof. And if you remember back in the beginning of the video, I initially thought I was going to have 2 floors, and it was going to be like a 2-bed, 1-bathroom type of house. And then as I started trying to do the roof, I realized that was not going to happen, so I just scrapped it and had it be just a 1-floor home. One of the cheats I'm typing in right here for building is bb.ignore gameplay unlocks entitlement. And what this does is it removes all of the career blocks from the build menu, and it allows you to place some of the other objects. So this bed right here, this is a base game bed. It also has a beautiful swatch in blue of Van Gogh's Starry Night. And I think it's behind a lock on I think it's the artist career. This bed is super cute. It has like fun swatches. It has a basic red one. It has this yellow one that I use, and then that blue Starry Night one. And if you have an artist sim who would be really into that, or if you're trying to build a base game little country cottage, I feel like this bed is so perfect for that. And you might not realize that that's available to you just because it's behind that career wall. And there's also a lot of other cute little clutter items that are similarly blocked in The Sims 4. So definitely a big pro tip is to turn on that cheat every time you build. And then I was trying to figure out, I kind of wanted to have a good amount of cupboards in the kitchen, and unfortunately, based on the window placement, I couldn't really do that. And of course, I could have just, removed the window, but I really like the vibe of having a window over the sink. I think it's really cute. So, that's where we were with like one sad cupboard over the fridge. And you know what? I feel like that just sometimes happens, and it is what it is. I also had a little bit of a hard time figuring out what wallpaper to use. Again, because the base game is a little bit limited, and I wanted it to have some dimension, and I wanted it to still be cute without just being too much or too little. And I think it turned out all right at the end. Also, a pro tip that I'm just thinking of now that I watched myself place that light is that a lot of times The Sims 4, the first swatch will be super ugly, and personally at least, I always think, okay, if the first swatch is ugly, then the rest of the swatches on this item must be ugly, which maybe is kind of dumb, but if you look through the other swatches, sometimes there is a nice, good, plain white light, or a nice, good, just basic wood-toned swatch that is usable for all of your builds instead of just one super niche build where you want to have a really colorful object. So I definitely recommend, even if if something is the right shape, it's always worth it to look through all the swatches to see if there's one that's right for you. But this living room is starting to come together. I was really wondering, is this red rug with the green couch too much? And I decided that it kind of fit the like one bedroom home aesthetic. But if you think it's really ugly, let me know in the comments down below, because I went through a lot of rug swatches trying to figure out, and couch swatches as well, trying to figure out what I should put in that living room, and that's kind of what I settled on. So if you like it, if you hate it, definitely let me know, because I am very intrigued. And then also this bathroom, I promise it will get more exciting. Initially, I was like, I'm just going to do a basic white bathroom. And then I decided to use this wallpaper. We just jumped away from it. But that's like my favorite base game tile wallpaper. I think it's so cute. It has a lot of different good swatches. And it's something I use a lot of times too behind the kitchen counters as backsplash. But I didn't use it in this build just because it didn't match the wallpaper that I had in the rest of the kitchen. See here, I'm putting the finishing touches on the exterior, putting those little vents on. I'm turning on cheats so that I can see all the live edit modes and the debug, or all the live edit objects and the debug objects. And you can see here, I'm starting to think about how do I want to build these brick columns. So with debug, unfortunately, you can't clone things, and it's really annoying to scroll back. So every time I saw something I thought I might want to use, I just dumped it on my lot. So that's why there's the car and the bushes, and now these brick items. And you see here, I'm testing out a few different base game columns to try to figure out which one is going to look good. And then I think this is like the mega column. And I placed down the little brick thing from debug, and then I placed the column just right over it, and it makes it look like the column is brick on the bottom and then white on the top, which, we don't have that in the base game. So it's super easy. All you have to do is scroll through debug until you find those brick bottoms. You place them where you want, and then you place a column right over them, and that's it. Easy peasy. And it's definitely a great way to get some more mileage out of the Sims 4 base game. See here now, we're going into some landscaping. I usually do the exact same landscaping every single time. It's the landscaping that I really liked from all of Little Simsy's videos. So I started doing it, and this time I branched out and I used some more bushes. Very exciting stuff. And then also those yellow flowers that I just always use. And then if you're wondering where those orange flowered bushes are from, those are from debug, and everything else is just from the live mode menu. Then I realized I forgot a trash can inside, so I quickly went back to put that. And then I just made a little outdoor patio space with a grill because I feel like that's something you really classically see in American homes, is having like, your big backyard grill session. And I struggled with the terrain paint, and eventually I went with this gravel, but I had to putz with it a bit before I got it how I liked it. Then we're just putting some trees and then saving it, and then we'll go into a little bit of a tour in a moment, just to give you a quick view of the lot. And unfortunately, it's dark and dreary in Willow Creek today. See, it looks quite nice from the curb. We have the car and the landscaping out front. And then right out back near the water, we have our little patio space. And then we're just quickly gonna go do a top-down look at the floor plan, and it's a super livable house. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and comment down below what you'd like to see me build next.